What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today where I've been working on a version of King's Cup that uses my tarot cards, and I've come up with what even my friends who liked to drink often have said would be a game they would only play occasionally, which means I think that I did well. Now, this is by no means an original idea. To begin with, stupidly thought that it was. It's not. So yeah. So, in 2 seconds. Oh well. Okay, so we start off with our major arcana. These ones, actually, you know what? No, we'll start off with the suits. I picked the swords because the swords represent air, and I'm an air sign. So obviously, as is always, ace is waterfall, 2 is for you, 3 is for me, 4, I put this one as floor, so like you gotta touch the floor. 5, I saw in some of I actually did a little bit of research, and one of the versions of King's Cup that people play has one where you draw a particular card and you've got to do a certain number of push-ups. I picked 5 and you do 5. So you 5 push-ups, you get a 5. Girls drink. 6 for chicks. I do have, okay. 7, that's the one where you reach up. Mates as always. Number 9 I put as a crush one because it ends up fitting in with one of the suits. Speaking of, I need to put this back in there. But 9 is like the crush card. Essentially, you pull a 9. I don't know if I'm gonna make it anyone in the circle or just the person to like your left or something, but you kiss someone basically. It can just be like on the cheek or whatever. And obviously, the drunker you get, the less you're worried about where it actually lands. 10 is for men. So the boys drink on this one. So 6 for chicks, 10 for men. We're avoiding slut shaming people or saying that guys are only one part of their body. This one becomes interesting because for the rest of the suit, jacks you make a rule, queens for question master, and the King's Cup. They make sense. Tarot decks have the princess card in this case. It's usually the page card. I know that there are decks out there that are gender non-specific as well. So they've got cards that are just called like sovereigns instead of kings, and that sort of thing. Either way, the card that would come after 10 becomes a social. So if you draw, in this deck's case, a princess, everybody drinks. It sort of helps even the playing field. So you might be getting away with not having to do any sort of drinking. But yeah, and obviously with things like the floor, everyone gets there. Everyone has to touch the floor. Push-ups. You might decide to challenge someone to it, or everyone has to do it. There are little bits that you can fit in there for the push-ups one, on how you decide who drinks for that card, etc. But other than that, the suits themselves stay the same. It's just the addition of that social card, as we're calling it, which is the princess or the page or whatever your specific deck's lowest court card is, essentially. We then have our suits. So each suit, because this is tarot, has its own little punishment. If you draw anything with a cup, any of the cups, the ace, the 2, the 4, the 10, whatever it might be, you specifically, because it's your turn, have to take an extra shot. So you might pull this card and you've got to start the waterfall, and then once the last person's finished drinking, you then also have to take another shot, because the tarot cards don't care. Coins, if you pull any of the coins, you have to put $1 into sort of the center, and similar to with the kings. I should have used the kings for this, but if you draw, say, like the King of Cups, you take 2 shots because it's the king, as well as pouring in your. If you get the King of Cups on King's Cup, you only have to take 1 shot, though. If the King of Cups is the last king to get pulled, it's 1 shot plus the King's Cup, just to really screw everybody around. And for this particular version, you go until all the cards have been pulled, and then if you're holding, actually no, that's right. If you have been developing it, bear with me. If you pull the King of Cups after all the cards have been played, you take the King's Cup. But if you pull any of the other cups, you take a shot. The coins, I need to put that in there. If you get the King of Coins, instead of putting the coin in, you get to take the $13 that are sitting there at the end of the game. So it's a guarantee of $13 for the person that gets the King of Pentacles, King of Coins. Swords, this one's fun if you're playing with your crush. Swords require the person who pulls it to take off an item of clothing. So guaranteed 14 items of clothing being taken off there. I haven't yet figured out exactly how the king will work in that case for its particular suit rule, and then for wands you would just sort of pull straws. Obviously one of them is going to be a short straw, and whoever pulls the King of Wands gets to decide what the punishment for the short straw is, which obviously they can then turn in their favour if they're the one that also pulls the short straw. This game is not meant to be fair, but that's suits and that sort of thing. Major Arcana is where it really gets interesting, because these cards, when you're reading a tarot, having a tarot reading, represent the big, because they represent the sort of big events in your life, big life events. The rules that these ones put in place whenever they're pulled out of the ring, they can affect the game a whole heap of fun ways. So if you pull the Fool, you're going to end up looking a fool when you start drinking with your offhand. So if you would normally grab your cup with your right hand. You gotta switch to left hand to right hand. The Magician card works the same way as the rule for the Smoko card or the Toilet card in some Australian variations, where you have to have this card to be able to get up from the table for any reason. Once it's been used, it gets turned over and you can't use it again. It's for one use only. It does not excuse you to just get up whenever you feel like it. This is also a one-use only card. The High Priestess offers you divine protection by allowing you to choose not to participate in a so like when you draw your next card, you can choose whether or not you're going to stick with this or actually just take the punishment you were given, but it allows you to basically protect yourself. However, if you pulled a sword, you still have to take off your item of clothing. It only protects you from the number, not the suit. And Major Arcana can't block other Major Arcana. So if you get the full card after drawing that, you can't then turn your High Priestess over and be like, I'm not doing that, because the full still takes effect. If you pull the Empress, welcome to Ladies' Night. For men, you now drink whenever 6 for Chicks gets drawn. If you are already a female or female identifying person, you now drink double on 6s. And vice versa for one of the boys with the Emperor. Male or male identifying people, double when it's 10 for men, and for females, you now drink when the boys do. You are now one of the boys. If you pull the Hierophant, you are allowed to either, there are two things you can do with this card. You can either take everyone's drinks and redistribute them to different people, or you can make everyone finish their drinks and have to start with new ones. Effective as of you pulling that card. If you choose that one, it immediately gets used and you just lay this one sort of face down, and it gets one used then. Otherwise, you can save it face up until you want to redistribute drinks, and then it gets turned over. The Lovers. You get to pick it essentially takes the place of an 8 and a 9 simultaneously. So you pick someone, they become your mate, plus that mate now has to take off an item of clothing as well. We're calling this, the rule that this one has, the strip club. So you get to pick someone and they have to take off an item of clothing, and then as of this card, they are now your lover and have to drink whenever you do. The Chariot, the one that makes the most sense for this is Drive. You pull this card, and every time it comes, you can be brutal with this card if you want to. Every time it comes around to your turn, you can just immediately start playing Drive before you draw your card. And the loser of that has to drink, and then you can pull your card. And essentially with this card you can give 2 punishments. It's a cruel card. The Strength card, again, another every time it's your turn, you can challenge someone to an arm wrestle, loser drinks, test of strength. This card essentially absolves you from a mate's thing. If you pull this before you get made a mate, people can't choose you to be a mate. If you're already a mate, they still have to drink when you do, but you sort of drink alone. You become the lone wolf. You become a hermit. So your cards only affect you. No. Make that around the other way so it helps you out. their cards affect only them, but your cards still affect people that have made your mate. The Wheel of Fortune, spin the bottle. Another every time it's your turn one. This one, again, cannot affect other major arcana, but otherwise it can break any particular rule that the knights, the jacks, the whatever put in place. This one becomes the rule break card to the jack's lawmaker, which is really fun. The hanged man, hanged woman in this case, that's right. Sorry, just looking at my notes here. The hanged man has two things that you can do. Either it's a one-use card and you just do a cake stand, or you take, if you've got snorkels, you do a snorkel. Otherwise, it affects every turn and you have to suddenly drink with no hands. So you'll be constantly using your elbows and just the sheer strength of your jaw to lift up the cup and drink. So you're either not allowed to touch it, or you've got to do a cake stand or some other way where you're inverted and becoming a hanged man in that regard. And that one's mainly based off this particular drawing, not the actual hanged man itself. This card is the one, now that I'm looking at my notes and remembering quickly, drawing this card is the one that makes you drink the King's Cup. All the other ones, if you get the King, you win that particular suit. You win its reward. So either doing 2 shots, or winning money, or whatever, deciding what the straws mean, or whatever it might be. But drawing the death card, you have to drink the cup in the center, the one that everyone's been putting their vile, repulsive mixes into. The temperance card is the thumbs rule, where you put the thumb on the side of the table every time it comes around to your turn. This one's a fun one because it's at any point during your turn, so it's not as soon as it comes to your turn you put your thumb on the table. The only part with that is you can't have your thumb on the table when it comes to your turn. You have to actually take it off and put it back on if that's the case. But otherwise, the last person to put their thumb on the table is the one that's going to drink. And that might take all the way around, depending on how observant your friends are. If you get the devil card, this is the card that's going to make all your friends hate you. You draw the devil card. Everyone has to replay the last punishment they got. So obviously, if they got another major arcana, they're going to do that again. So for temperance, it might restart the thumb game. For the death card, there's not really anything there. For the hangman, if you've decided that the hangman's a cake stand, that person now has to do another cake stand. The Wheel of Fortune person now has to spin the bottle again. Those sorts of things. But otherwise, for the most part, it's going to be affecting the numbers as well, because all the other major arcanas don't really affect the other major arcanas, because they're more or less rules that affect the whole game rather than specific actions. It'll just, so if someone drew a 5, they've got to get that down, do 5 push-ups, and then take a drink. The devil card forces them to do both sides. So he's a really fun one to get. you want to get the devil, you don't want to be subjected to the devil. Playing the tower is getting 2 truths and a lie. These last ones just sort of become playing games. Every time it comes down to your turn, you can pick someone, they've got to do 2 truths and a lie. Or you can choose to just be the one giving 2 truths and a lie, and the person that gets it wrong drinks. It really just depends on how much you particularly want to drink. The star allows you to skip your turn, but only every second turn. So if you use the card, it gets flipped over, it comes back to your turn, you're able to flip it back over, so it's to play next time. So yeah, you can skip your turns with this one. It's not quite the same as being protected. You are still subjected to certain things, but yeah, it does allow you to, or you can choose to skip someone else's turn and instead just force them to drink. You can just tell them that, no, instead of drawing a card, you drink. I'm using my start card. And because we're getting on in the thing, this one's not just a shot, it's like a full, like they take a drink. Depending on how much is in their bottle, they might just finish their drink. You kind of get to decide. The moon card is a would you rather, this or that sort of a thing. Like the whole reflection aspect, particularly since it's the moon and the moon reflects the sunlight. A would you rather is there. The sun gives us a truth or dare, and again, both of these ones are when it comes around to your turn again. So when it's your turn again, you can do another would you rather, and you get to pick. For making it a drinking thing, obviously everyone would answer. The people that give the same answer to you don't drink. People that don't answer yours, they drink. So the people that answer the same as you are sort of on these peaks here, or up on the moon itself. The people that don't are in the water, they drink. And then obviously the truth or dare, obviously you make it relevant to the game with your truths or dares, but otherwise that's that. Judgment card, play never have I ever. And then the world card. This one is another one that's a one use only because of its punishment. Allowing you to do this every turn is just, it's not nice. So we've limited this to one only. One and done for this one. But you can pick someone and they have to take a drink out of everybody's drink. Obviously like one at a time, but they go around the world. And yeah, it's for that reason playing with this particular rule set with the tarot cards, you want people to have different alcohols. So someone would have beer, someone might have wine, someone will have some spirits or something. Because then the world card just becomes, it literally becomes a around the world of different alcohols. Obviously in all of this, drink responsibly. Don't come at this thinking that it's just going to be a nice, fun little game. No, I've specifically developed this with my friends in mind. They're all pretty heavyweight when it comes to drinking. So I've made sure that this would provide me, someone who medically can't drink much, I've designed this so that I can have all of the enjoyment while watching, because my drinks are non-alcoholic, and yeah, if I was to get the death card, mine would just be death card. I don't know. Maybe I'd just go with non-alcoholic the entire time and be the one that has the mixer for the King's Cup. But yeah, those are the rules that I've got. When I can convince my friends to actually play it with me, I'll record a little bit of that. We'll play test it a bit. We'll see how it goes. I might just do a video of like one round of it. We'll see how well it goes. But yeah, that's what I've got for this video. Excuse me. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you are new here, and please ring the notification bell if you want to be notified when I upload new videos as well. That would also be greatly appreciated. I'm going to leave the link to this deck in the description below. There are 2 other decks that I want to try and get myself. I'm going to leave links to them as well. So there'll be a couple of different options for you if you want to buy yourself some tarot cards. And I might even start working on myself, actually making my own cards that have, particularly for the major arcana, would already have the rules written on them. So yeah, other than that, that's all I've got for you guys. So until next time, keep your head screwed on.